my bitches like you, so a nigga had to go and put
Tips on you. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is June 4th, 2019. Shout out to my man Raj. That for the song request is a throwback Snoop Dogg right here. Can you control your hoe? Man, if you guys like West Coast pimp music, you're gonna like this one. You got to control your hoes. Again, thanks Raj for that song request for today. And I hope you guys are doing well out there. Welcome to another episode. We've got some really good articles today. The one that is I'm gonna save for last, this new evidence of who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And you know, I have to give shout out to and credit to Bad Pooh out there on Telegram for dropping this to me at 8:30 in the morning yesterday. He dropped this, he was on it. He dropped it maybe an hour after it came out. It was published on investingblockchain.com and he sent it to me, man. So I'm gonna definitely cover that today. Very compelling argument for who Satoshi Nakamoto is. If I have to be honest, this is probably the most compelling I've heard. So we'll see. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that, and we'll have that discussion in the comments below. And also we'll cover today from Decrypt Media about the SEC suing Kick for securities violation. So I thought they had already sued them, but apparently not. So they probably saw that crowdfunding campaign and said, oh, you want to try to raise some money to fight us, huh? Okay, we're just going to go ahead and sue you. That's what happened. We'll take a look at the details there. And then also LocalBitcoins.com. Remember I talked about Roger Ver's LocalBitcoin.com, not to be confused with the infamous and the legendary LocalBitcoins.com. LocalBitcoins.com has removed local cash trades. So what's the point? What's the point of having is no point for LocalBitcoins.com anymore. Sad story. We're going to take a look at it, and it's kind of ironic because it happened on the heels of local.bitcoin.com launching yesterday, actually. So as much as we don't like Roger Ver, hey, you can go over there right now. They've got I'll bring up the site, but they've got I think 10 or 20 different avenues for you to swap with other individuals, cash to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to cash. And they kind of act as an intermediary. So hey, I mean, you may have to use them over there at local.bitcoin.com, because localbitcoins.com is a done deal. First, let's go ahead and take a look at this technical chart. And I'm so glad I got out of the market, boy. God, hope you guys followed my lead on that trade. I got out at 8,700. And this is the thing, guys. You should follow people who have a lot of experience in trading. Those individuals are not always right. Not by far. But people who have experience in trading, years and years and years. I have over a decade of trading experience. When I saw this candle right here, I immediately identified it. I knew what it was. And so, you know, it was a bearish engulfed candle, and I knew that would be a major trend reversal for us. And that's why I took my position out. And so we tested the backside of that. As you guys know, that failed. That gave me second confirmation that was a good trend line. And then we just continued to drop, and we got down to my second scenario, second trend line, and we tested it. It was some action off of that area, and I, you know, it was looking good here because we went down, we bounced off. See that long candle? We had a lot of buying pressure there. Bulls kind of defended this area, and we kind of just trended sideways here for a while. And then this candle made me think that we were heading higher, because we started to close above this trend line. So we had essentially only 2 hours above this area. So I did put half my position back on at this point. So I still have half of the dry powder is still on the sidelines. And then out of nowhere, boom, we get that slam down. It's a big move down, by the way. So now it's pretty much a done deal. Actually, it's not. I put this in the trading room where I have levels, and I've given them that. I'm not going to disclose the closest level, but I will give you the secondary level for where we are, and that would be 6,900, guys. That level is the second to last trend line or support area for us. Just keep that in mind. But we definitely broke this second trend line. You can almost look at that as an attempt and a smackdown above this area. And like, this trend line is not perfect. This is how I've drawn it, and it lines up for me. However, sometimes the market may interpret it a little differently as far as the accuracy of it, but it's very close. So you can almost think of it like it was done like this. The market looked at it like that, broke it, it tried to get above it, and got smacked back down. And so maybe I should have drawn it that way, even though I don't see exactly where they're getting that, but that's how the market interpreted it for sure. So that's it for the technical analysis for today. So first article is out of Cointelegraph, and it is about this LocalBitcoins confirms removal of local cash trades. This is insane. This is a sad day, to be honest with you. Global peer-to-peer crypto exchange LocalBitcoins has officially confirmed the removal of trading in local fiat currencies, the firm announced in a tweet on June 4th. As previously reported, the Finland-based exchange silently removed cash trading on June 1st, which immediately caused some outrage in the crypto community. In the official statement, LocalBitcoins noted that its liabilities are determined by the Act on Detecting and Preventing Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing, which requires the exchange to follow certain sanctions. LocalBitcoins wrote, "In order to adapt to the current regulatory environment, we had to reconsider our policy on local cash trades, as well as geographical areas where our services is available, among other platform features. As a consequence, advertisements in the cash category, local cash trades, were disabled in our platform on Saturday, June 1st. This just lets you know, guys, like, every day we get further and further away from the whole point of this whole game. And it is really disgusting. And, you know, I was talking to someone, they commented in my video from yesterday about a voice. And actually someone in my trading room sent a screenshot from the voice.com website saying that U.S. citizens may not even be eligible to sign up because of regulatory restrictions. That right there defeats the purpose. There is no, like, at some point, these companies and these corporations, somehow they've got to structure themselves where the governments can't come after them, or we got to start putting up a fight. One of the two, you know, because it can't. It's a black or white thing. It's a black or white thing when it comes to this crypto and freedom. Because if we truly want to exercise cryptocurrencies in a libertarian way, we've got to draw the line somewhere. You know, it has to be drawn somewhere. We can't keep trying to please an agency that doesn't want freedom for us. And that's what cryptocurrencies bring. They bring freedom to the people if utilized and exercised in the proper way. So I'm very upset that Block One is bowing down to the regulatory agencies. And I know, you know, they're trying to go with the corporate right way, right? If they do it any other way, then they're going to be looked at as a threat and be taken down. But again, at some point, like, when do we stand up for what we want? You guys help me out. Give me ideas, suggestions about how we can do that. Because again, this is just, if we're going to continue down this path, this is worse than fiat, you know, because you can track it a little bit easier. I don't know, man. I'm very disappointed. And very disappointed to see LocalBitcoins take away cash trades. And I'm a little upset at voice.com and their warning about U.S. citizens not being able to utilize the service. Maybe that's what they were all up there on stage looking nervous and distraught for at the conference, the B1 June announcement. Maybe the federales were in the house. They were in Washington, D.C. Could have had the men in black there waiting at the door. So who knows, man? I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but LocalBitcoins no longer accepting cash trades. Insane. Second article is out of Decrypt Media, and it's about the Securities and Exchange Commission suing Kik for securities violation. It says Kik has insisted its $100 million token sale in 2017 didn't constitute an unregistered securities offering. The SEC begs to differ. It says here the SEC announced today that it has filed suit against Canada-based messaging startup Kik over its unregistered $100 million ICO. The SEC is asking a federal New York judge to force Kik to give all the money back, plus pay interest and penalties. God! Of course, New York, right? The SEC claims that Kik's 2017 token sale constituted an illegal securities offering, but unlike the various other enforcement actions that the SEC has conducted against ICOs over the past year, this is the first time that the commission will need to prove its allegations in court. I'm sure they're not going to have a problem with that. According to the SEC's complaint, financial trouble at the messaging app company is what motivated Kik to pivot to blockchain, which was financed through the sale of 1 trillion digital tokens. And Kik's description of the Kin token as a utility token, one that would be used within its messaging app rather than for speculative gains, was disingenuous, says the SEC, since these services and systems did not exist and there was nothing to purchase using Kin. Sounds like a whole bunch of projects to me. The complaint further alleges that Kin tokens were marketed across an array of secondary markets and cryptocurrency trading platforms, spurring a speculative rally that ultimately left investors with significant losses. The sale allegedly raised $55 million from the U.S. investors alone. So Robert Cohen, chief of the Enforcement Division of Cyber Units over at the SEC, said that Kik told investors they could expect profits from its effort to create a digital ecosystem. He goes on to say here, future profits based on the efforts of others is a hallmark of a securities offering that must comply with the federal securities law. Kik has vehemently denied the SEC's allegations and vowed to fight these charges in court. In late 2018, the SEC issued Kik with a Wells notice, which first hinted at a potential infraction. Within a month, Kik gave its response, explaining in a lengthy, detailed document why its token sale was not a security, though the Ontario Securities Commission had already deemed it to be. Oh man, they're done. They're done, people. If their own country said it was a security, they're done. I can't believe their legal counsel went ahead with this. I guess they wanted to get paid too. Lawyers are crooks anyway. They're crooks too. So, and in January this year, Kik pledged to fight the SEC's decision, culminating last week when it set up a fund for its legal defense dubbed Defend Crypto. Man, this is retarded. Which has already raised $4.7 million. Oh, man. When the SEC saw that, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to eat up all of that and still win. Indeed, Kik's endgame is to trounce the SEC so utterly that the agency is forced to redefine the century-old Howey test, the regulator rule of thumb used to determine whether an asset is a security, which incidentally is the very metric Kik appears to have violated. My oh my. All right, people, there you go. They're doomed. This is a bad strategy, in my opinion. They're going to lose. They're going to drain. They're going to drain all that new money, $5 million they've raised from you guys, you suckers out there, thinking that they would be able to beat the SEC. No way. Absolutely no way. What do you guys think about that? Did you give to the crowd fund? Are you a sucker? I'm not really calling you a sucker, but I'm just saying, man, this is not a good strategy, Kik. Should have called Crypto Blood. I would have given you advice on what to do. No, but seriously, all jokes aside, I don't know. What do you do in this situation? And it goes with what I was talking about in the previous article regarding LocalBitcoins, regarding Voice.com and Block One. At what point do you stand up to the government? Maybe all these whales need to create a coalition or a foundation that will, kind of align itself with these ICOs and these startups and these blockchain companies so that there's some barrier, some wall, some protection there we can create some type of alliance to go against, you know, these draconian, if you want to call it, laws that have us really restricted here. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that. So last article, last but not least, I think that I'm saving the best for last today. And this is out of investinblockchain.com. This guy wrote a great article, did a lot of research by Jeremy Wall. Man, this is compelling. This is a compelling argument. At least the evidence presented will have you thinking, people. Will definitely have you thinking. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. It says new evidence suggests Satoshi Nakamoto is Paul Solotshi, the creator of encryption software E4M and TrueCrypt. So it says here, Paul Solotshi Calder Leroux, a 46-year-old criminal mastermind, is the creator of an encryption software called E4M and TrueCrypt, the cryptography encryption software Satoshi Nakamoto likely used to lock up his 1 million Bitcoin, and the author of an uncannily similar manifesto to the one in the Bitcoin's white paper in 1998. But that's not all. Paul Solotshi employs similar spelling and language patterns in his writing style to that of Satoshi. He's interested in gambling, and that was in Bitcoin's initial code for a poker client. And what's more, he's been in jail since 2012. That's probably the reason why his 1 million Bitcoin hasn't moved. On top of that, the documents included in this article show a connection of Craig Wright to Paul Solotshi. The identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous and enigmatic creator of Bitcoin, is perhaps the most enduring mysteries of modern times. It's long been speculated as to who he, she, or they are, but to no avail. The long-standing mystery remains. Wright has courted controversy by claiming to be the creator of Bitcoin, which has led to multiple lawsuits and court hearings. One such court case, claiming versus Wright, has surfaced new evidence in the form of a Wikipedia page which was not redacted, which oddly enough points to a new Satoshi candidate, and it's not Wright. This is where it gets really interesting, people. The newfound Satoshi Nakamoto candidate is Paul Solotshi, a 46-year-old former cartel boss, drug smuggler, arms dealer, informant to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, and genius programmer. All you moral people out there, you gotta get rid of your Bitcoin now. It was created by a cartel boss, a killer. Better get rid of your Bitcoin. It's not morally right. You don't support this type of stuff. As seen from Leroux's Wikipedia page, the man lived an eventful life with a career that included gold smuggling, precious metals mining, logging, land deals, drugs and arms trafficking, money laundering, assassinations, encryption software development, and more. Man, this is my type of guy right here. Also stated on Leroux's Wikipedia page, Leroux is currently in U.S. custody for ordering the assassination of 6 people. Oh man, you people with moral compasses, y'all got to dump this Bitcoin immediately. You can't support this. Some readers may already be familiar with Leroux's life story, as it was presented in a series on activists, along with a book titled The Mastermind. An excerpt summarizing the publications state he was a brilliant programmer and a vicious cartel boss who became a prized U.S. government asset. Apart from Leroux's life as a cartel boss, he was also a brilliant programmer who created E4M, an open source free Windows disk encryption software program, in 1999. As well, he is also suspected to be the creator of the open source TrueCrypt disk cryptography package, which is based on the E4M's code. How did a man of this nature, with an extensive criminal background and some impressive programming contributions under his belt, come to be tied with Craig Wright's court case and suspected to be Satoshi Nakamoto? This is when it gets real spicy here, people. It says self-proclaimed Satoshi Craig Wright is being sued by the claimant family on accusations that Wright defrauded and stole over $11 billion worth of Bitcoin and hard drives from the now deceased Dave Klayman, a noted computer forensics expert who's suspected by some to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Wright and Klayman were business partners until Klayman died in 2013. The lawsuit that's unfolding in Florida courts has been filed with bizarre theories, misdirections, forgeries, and mistruths, which were often presented by the defendant, Dr. Craig Wright. What the hell? Among the bizarre things brought forth by Wright is document 187, Dr. Craig Wright motion for protective order. Document 187. That's funny. According to Wright, some of the evidence that supports he is Satoshi and that the 11 billion worth of Bitcoins is his own includes sensitive information about his ties to criminals and his involvement in their apprehension and incarceration. Oh man, Craig Wright, you're a snitch, I see. Okay. Therefore, document 187 has been redacted so that the criminals included in the document would not learn of Wright's involvement with their arrests and seek repercussions against him. However, unfortunately for Wright, whoever was redacting the document failed to black out one of the corresponding footnotes that identifies the criminal kingpin in question, and that's Paul LaRue. Yikes. As seen in the footnote above, a partial URL is visible that leads to the Daily Mail article that calls LaRue a real-life Bond villain behind a cocaine and gun empire spanning 4 continents, who's now turned super snitch. Also, the unredacted footnote clearly contains a link to Paul LaRue's Wikipedia page, indicating that LaRue may very well be one of the criminals that Craig Wright is afraid of repercussions from. With the public release of document 187, it's now being suggested that Paul LaRue may be Satoshi Nakamoto, and that Wright is in possession of encrypted hard drives containing LaRue's stash of the famously stationary 1 million Bitcoins. But how does Craig Wright, Dave Klayman, and Paul LaRue all fit into the perplexing conspiracy theory? Per the document, the 187 document, and the unredacted information about LaRue, there's a strong assumption that LaRue is the unnamed individual that Wright talks about in the document. Therefore, information outlaid in the document combined with some theorization suggests that Wright was an employee of LaRue and also an informant who helped bring him down in 2012. Following this presumed tale of events, one anonymous Redditor suggests that Wright and his longtime friend and business partner, David Klayman, managed to get their hands on LaRue's encrypted hard drives that hold 1 million Bitcoins. However, unfortunately for Wright, all of LaRue's coins are locked away in secure TrueCrypt volumes, the cryptography encryption software suspected to be developed by LaRue. Wright also spent years trying to crack these hard drives, but with no success, which is why he has yet to prove he is Satoshi. Adding to the conspiracy theory, Wright's close friend, Calvin Ayre, has set up warehouses of computers to try and crack the encrypted hard drives code, disguising them as cryptocurrency mining firms, meaning his mining activity is simply a front to make these massive data centers look legitimate. Wow. So the article goes on. I'm not going to read the entire thing. You can read it for yourself. But here are some strong parallels between Satoshi Nakamoto and Paul LaRue. Says apart from the allegations of Wright's association with LaRue, there are numerous curious coincidences that support the case that the criminal mastermind LaRue is Satoshi. Paul LaRue's alias is Solotshi. In one of the many passports LaRue owned, he goes by the name of Solotshi, which sounds extremely similar to Satoshi. Very true. LaRue is a brilliant programmer and familiar with C++. And so is Satoshi. Before LaRue was known to be involved in an array of criminal endeavors, he was a brilliant programmer with an obsession for cryptography and privacy, much like Satoshi Nakamoto. As previously mentioned, in 1997, he began working on E4M, Encryption for the Masses, which is software capable of encrypting entire disks. Moreover, LaRue published a kind of manifesto that expresses ideals strikingly similar to those of Satoshi Nakamoto, as explained in the Wikipedia. It says, in the politics section of the E4M website, LaRue published a kind of manifesto stating that governments are increasingly relying on electronic data gathering, citing projects such as Echelon, linked to the 5 nation states, which would become known as the 5 Eyes, more than a decade later, he stated that encryption is the only way to preserve civil liberties. At the end of LaRue's manifesto, he states, strong encryption is the mechanism with which to combat these intrusions, preserve your rights, and guarantee your freedoms into the information age and beyond. And it's funny that we're even reading that part, because this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is so true. Like, this is what Bitcoin was made for. If he did create it, or not, the encryption, cryptography and all that is to help give us our civil rights back. And it seems like we're giving all that up. LaRue also is suspected to have developed TrueCrypt, the encryption software protecting Satoshi Nakamoto's 1 million Bitcoin. And then fourth, Satoshi's disappearance lines up with LaRue's new endeavors. Satoshi disappeared in early 2011 to move on to other things. Around the same time, LaRue transitioned from his field of software developer to cartel boss. During this time, he experienced disruptions with his illegal global pharmaceutical business, RX Limited, when the government and DEA restricted distribution. And then, as stated from LaRue's Wikipedia page, around 2011, LaRue began to disappear for long periods of time, with none of his employees knowing his whereabouts as U.S. authorities were closing in on him. LaRue took up temporary residence in Rio de Janeiro and planned his move there. LaRue's disappearance and need to lie low coincides with Satoshi's disappearance, indicating yet another strong parallel between the two. So yeah, you guys can read in detail, and you should, just to get understanding of what this writer is talking about here. Very well written by Jeremy Wall. I have to give him credit for that. All of his research put together very well. And what do you guys think, man? Is this guy Paul LaRue the real Satoshi Nakamoto? Sure is sounding like it. For Satoshi not to move those wallets, two things. He could be dead, or also the other one is that he could be in jail. That makes sense. That would make sense if he's in jail. And I don't think he's getting out anytime soon. You guys let me know. What are your thoughts? Would you feel differently if you knew finally who Satoshi Nakamoto was? I would feel a little bit differently about Bitcoin. The mystique of it would just kind of go away. That's interesting. That's a very compelling article there. You guys let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let me give a shout out to moonlambotees.com. You can save 25% using the code CryptoBlood25. Someone used it yesterday. They shouted me out on Twitter. Picked them up some shirts. I've got another one on today. Dogecoin. This is my favorite community right here. I really had a good time with them in my beginning years in the crypto game. We sent the Jamaican bobsled team to the Winter Olympics. We sponsored Jeff Wise in the NASCAR race. Those are the good days of cryptos for sure. Those are the good days. So you guys let me know your thoughts about all of these topics covered today. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to support this channel. If you want to see this channel grow, you gotta share, you gotta like it, you gotta spread the word. Shout out to my man Raj that for this song request. Snoop Dogg, Can You Control Your Hoe? It's your boy Crypto Blood. That's my two Satoshis for June 4th, 2019. I'm out here, people. How?